Yeah, I know my mic was muted. I was just playing. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Uh, excuse me. Thank you all for coming. Before we hop into the after action report, uh, dang it. Fine this whole time, and now all of a sudden I'm streaming. I have to cough. So I wanted to go over the trucks for under the Christmas tree campaign of Cars for Ukraine. We have reached €505, halfway to my dread. I'm not looking forward to that, but I know you guys are gonna make me do it. So, um, still Linda Anonymous, Aussie T, I'm sure, Michelle, Mitch, me, and Robert. Thank you for your support and your donations. And of course, that's only 7. So 4 other anonymous donors. Thank you, Anonymous. Um, I appreciate the support, and I really appreciate you guys supporting the units on the front line in Ukraine. Oh, this Aussie's not you, Aussie T? Okay. Now I'm afraid. Because I, I'm worried because of this. um, of course, if you do donate over €100, um, you can get the cute little cat with the medic badge for the pin. And these are, I've been told, are teasers for pins that are coming up later. Uh, Total so far for the entire Trucks Under the Tree campaign with all the other YouTubers and fundraisers going on is €68,922, 66 cents. I'm not sure what the decimal points in of a euro are called. uh, View all the fundraisers. ATP Geopolitics, 24,000. Way to go, ATP! Huge amount. Almost half of the entire fundraiser. War Translated, 14,333.66. Mercado, 11,206.79. Succumus, 8,354. Silicon Curtain, 2,920. Rick the Ukrainian, 2,231. The Shills, 1,811. Johnny FD, 851. Oh, and me, 506. Phil Ibner, 120. So, great job. I appreciate the support. Great job, everybody out there. And let's hop into. Okay, I'm upset. Operational information as of 8 p.m., or excuse me, 8 a.m., December 18th, regarding the Russian invasion. But where's my Slava Ukraina? And they got it down here, but anyway, the 1029th day of the large-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. The situation at the front remains tense. The enemy, using its superiority in manpower and equipment, is attacking our positions. Ukrainian defenders are steadfastly holding back the onslaught of the occupiers and inflicting significant losses on the enemy. In total, 199 combat clashes were recorded over the last day, finally dipping back under the 200 assaults, just barely, but still, I'll take that as a win. No, not a nanomoose, a nano. Yeah. The Nanu. Mork and Mindy. According to updated information, yesterday the enemy launched one missile strike on the positions of Ukrainian units and settlements using 4 missiles. 51 airstrikes, dropping 75 glide bombs. In addition, it carried out more than 4,300 artillery strikes, 89 of them from multiple launch rocket systems. And if you guys heard my phone go ding, air alerts just came active in Kyiv City, as well as several other air alerts. We'll get more on that later. 89 were from MLRSs, and they used about 1,800 kamikaze drones. The aggressor carried out airstrikes, in particular in the areas of the settlements of Voshchansky Kutori. That's a new city name I haven't heard before in Kharkiv. I have to look for that one when we do that part. Serhivka, Terny, Ivanica, Fedorivka, Rizkovka, Zemyka, Serebryanka, Vasukivka, Razino, Romanivka, Velika Novosilka, and of the Donetsk region. So a lot of towns in Donetsk. Over the past day, missile troops and the artillery of the defense forces hit 6 areas of concentration of enemy personnel, weapons, and equipment. And going into the individual directions, the enemy unsuccessfully stormed the positions of our troops and defenders near the populated point of Voshchansk 4 times using attack aircraft. Going up towards Kharkiv. Kharkiv is just here. Voshchansk is there. Okay, so Voshchansky Kutori is right here. So this was where the the aircraft bomb hit. Moving on to, let me scroll this up just a little bit. In the Kupiansk direction, 5 attacks by the invaders took place over the day. The defense forces repelled enemy assaults near Petropavlivka and Lozova. Zoom out and head over. So Lozova. Petropavlivka is here, just to the east of Kupiansk. The enemy is still having increased number of attacks in the Limansky direction. While actively using aircraft, the enemy attacked 21 times. Tried to wedge into our defenses near Zeleny Gay, Terny, Novoyehorivka, Makivka, and in the Serebyansky forest. Scrolling down, Lozova was right here. Novoyehorivka, Harivka, Makivka, Torsk, and in the Serebyanska forest. A couple weeks ago, I say increased number of attacks. A couple weeks ago, the number of attacks per day in this area were single digits. So 21 attacks in this area is a significant increase in activity. Unfortunately, we're also seeing increased activity in Servisk area. In the Servisk direction, our troops repelled 9 enemy attacks near Horivka, Bilogorivka, Servisk, and Vrukno-Kamensky. Yes, 9 attacks is not very many. But Sunday, there was 55 attacks in the area, and then dropped to 30s, and then the 20s, and now we're at 9. So hopefully this area is going back to a stabilized number of attacks and not as much activity in the future. Going to Servisk, Hirohorivka, Bilohorivka, Vrukno-Kamensky, and of course Servisk. Not much has changed. Well, nothing has changed in this area in quite a while, despite the recent increase in attacks. Moving into the Kramatorsk area. Over the past day, 3 combat clashes took place in the areas of the settlements of Chasev Yar and Stupochki. Actively using bomber aircraft in the Toretsk direction, the enemy carried out 7 attacks in the city of Toretsk. Covering these 2 areas, Kramatorsk and Toretsk area. Chasev Yar is here. Stupochki is here. And directly to the south is Toretsk. We've seen several videos now of Ukrainians going into this downtown high-rise area and literally demolishing the building that the Russians are staying in. Ukrainians are doing everything they can to hold back the Russian invaders in this area. Oh, it's a Christmas Eve. Okay. Oh, that's cool of Yazzie T. So the eve of his birthday, he's gonna try and warm my heart and my stomach, my throat, my mouth, and everything else. Gotcha. Yeah, it seems like every front is having key battles right now. Of course, Toretsk, one of the last major cities before Konstantinivka. Chasev Yar, similar situation. Of course, Pokrovsk and Mirnograd are another vector towards Konstantinivka. And of course, Konstantinivka, and there's a whole line, Druzivka, Kramatorsk, and Slovansk are all cities Russia wants to control. My guess is, with Putin saying no peace talks right now, is he wants to capture these cities before he'll even think about talking peace, because then it effectively gives him control over the majority of the population in Donetsk. Talking about Pokrovsk, in the Pokrovsk direction. Oh, I'm not liking how many hard to pronounce names are in this, but in the Pokrovsk direction, our defenders stopped 38 assaults and offensive actions of the aggressor in the areas of Mirolubivka, Promin, Lysivka, Dachensky, Novotrud, Novovasilka, Pishkani, Novoolinka, Novopustinka, Kumyatski, Ukrenka, Sukhoyar, and Novoilizvetivka. Since it's actually mentioned here, Ukrainka, I actually have a video of a Russian assault being repelled in that direction. So this video here, the last one I uploaded, yeah, I'm gonna have to start muting these because YouTube's being mean. But you see one tank getting taken out there. I don't know about you guys, but I always have that, like, the image in my head of the cockroaches running when you turn the lights on, like in the cartoons. And here they are, like the light switch just got turned on by Ukraine, and the cockroaches go running. And it literally is a infestation of Russian troops in Ukraine, so it's fitting. Demonstration of Russian driving skills. And of course, you see the normal tactic. The tanks are leading the way, and then all these other Russian vehicles are following up. Supposedly, the tanks are supposed to clear the way, and so these guys can move in without being harassed by drones. But Ukraine's taking out the tanks, and those guys have nowhere to go. Well, except, HE double hockey sticks. So in the background, you saw the other tank that was destroyed, the first one. Ukraine knocks out this one, and only one guy seen running backwards. So just going to start backwards here and start with Ukrainka, Novoilizvetivka, Novoolinka, there's another. There's a Novopushkinka. Here it is. I was trying to find that one. Jumping over here, Novi Trud, Dashchensky, Lasivka, Promin, Mirolubivka. Literally the same towns over and over and over again. Russia, according to Deep State Map, Russia has been able to secure several farm fields today. Have not been able to move any further than into towns, but a couple farm fields here and there. And these are what the meat wave assaults are trying to capture. A farm field. Real strategic power in a farm field. Moving on to the Kharkiv direction. The defense forces repelled 28 attacks. The occupiers tried to advance most actively in the areas of Dachny, Sansivka, Staroturny, Kurakova, and Yantarny. If they're going to use Yantarny as one of the settlements, Deep State needs to make the writing for that village bigger. Yantarny is this village here. Dachny, of course, Kurakova, Staroturny, Sansivka, Zora, and of course Ukrainka from Pokrovsk direction. So, just to show you guys, Russia is capturing a little bit more of Kurakova today, and Upensivka is almost completely occupied at this point. The entire village is in the gray zone. It's not a great situation, unfortunately. There is a new commander in charge in this area, and hopefully he will be able to stabilize these lines. Let's just move on for now. In the Vermiv direction, the enemy carried out 27 assaults on our positions in the areas of Konstantinopolsky. That one's a rough transition. Konstantinopolsky. Okay. Sukovyaly, Starohivovi, Novoselka, and Termivka, Novopol, and Novodorivka. Literally not having to go anywhere because Yantarny is here. Air alert in Kyiv is clear. Konstantinopolsky here. Yantarny from the other direction. Sukovyaly. That one wasn't mentioned. That one wasn't mentioned. Novokumar wasn't mentioned. So Novodarivka, Novopil, and Novosilka. So it looks like Russia's trying to put more pressure on this area. Unfortunately, they already know what it's like to be under Russian occupation in this area. This was liberated back in 2022 in the September. And unfortunately, Russians are regaining this ground. Hopefully that means that defense lines are already set up along this area. Just have to fix them back up. can only wait and find out, unfortunately. In the Guliopil direction, the enemy did not conduct active operations. In the Orhiv direction, our defenders repelled 3 enemy attacks near Novoandrivka, Ihorovka, and Novodanlivka. 4 times without success, the invaders tried to displace the units of the defense forces from the occupied positions in the this is why I don't usually say it. Pridniprovsky direction, the Dnipro River direction. Mark that and go through those 3 areas. Guliopol is here. No activity in this direction. As you can see, there's very few Russian forces shown on the deep state map in this direction. Orhiv attacks in the Novodanlivka area and Novoandrivka. Going to the Dnipro River area, it doesn't give us cities to locate where the attacks are happening, but I assume the attacks are happening in this river delta area. Kursk is becoming the most heavily attacked area with the addition of the North Korean troops. In the past day, our defenders repelled 49 enemy attacks in the Kursk direction. The enemy carried out about 500 artillery shellings, carried out 8 airstrikes, and dropping 10 bombs in those airstrikes. Excuse me. I'm sorry, my sinuses are draining and making me cough. I apologize for that. Well, at least you're out of the hospital, Andrew. It's good to see you here. In the Volyn and Policia directions, no signs of the formation of enemy offensive groups were detected. On the border with Chernihiv and Sumy regions, the enemy from the territory of the Russian Federation uses artillery in the areas of Ukrainian settlements. Our soldiers continue to inflict significant losses on the occupation forces, both in manpower and equipment, and actively undermine the enemy's offensive potential in the rear. Goes into the combat losses for today. We'll cover that in the graphic I have, or ZCU produces. And they end the report with Razom Permožemo, Slava Ukraina. Hopping right into the losses for today. Total combat losses of the enemy as of December 18th, the 1029th day of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia lost an additional 1,580 personnel, bringing the total to 766,690. 4 tanks were lost today, 21 armored personnel vehicles, 5 artillery systems, 64 unmanned aerial vehicles, drones essentially. These are the Shaheeds. 60 vehicles and 2 special equipment. Oh, that's what that one is. Okay. So Odessa was under air alert. The same with Kyiv City. Lasted 26 minutes. City of Kyiv, it lasted for 17 minutes, but the oblast has been under air alert for 7 hours, 27 minutes. Chernihiv for 36 minutes. Sumy for 1 hour, 25 minutes. Poltava, 8 hours, 45 minutes. Kharkiv, 1 hour, 53 minutes. Donetsk, 1 hour, 44 minutes. And that is the air alerts as of right now. Oh, let me see if I can find this really quick. Petrie sent me a photo. So some of you may recognize him. He's kind of famous. Here you go. I never knew his full name was Andrew Petrie, but yeah, there's Petrie for you. uh, yeah, big, huge voice actor star. There's Petrie. That was. um. See, Niels, the question's supposed to be what kind of doctor fixes spiders? A WebMD. I'm waiting for LJ to kick in with the pterodactyl joke I told her the other day. um Mitch, I'd love to take some horseradish for my sinuses draining, but we're only halfway there. Oh, more than halfway. Got a new donation in, up to 517. See if they left their name. Oh, KKGG, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. Oh, you're the another anonymous. uh oh, the Santa joke was bad. No, I remembered that as soon as I said it, and it's like, oh, it's too late to go back now. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, Zelensky did not put out a speech today. He was doing something far more important. Um, uh, okay. Thank you for that, Andrew. Uh, I hope I live to regret that. Anyways, Zelensky was doing something far more important today, and I hope you guys enjoy this, even though it is not in English. I'll do what I can to translate the gist of it as best as I can. I don't think it needs
Шановні
translation.
воїни, я вам дякую за захист нашої держави. Ви її зберегли. Я впевнений в цьому, що це є частина великої перемоги. Саме ви і є невід'ємна частина саме цього. Дякую за те, що ви побудували такий всесвіт. Дуже приємно бачити ваші обличчя і впевнений, що ви робите велику допомогу всім людям, воїнам, близьким, державі. Дуже вам дякую. Одужання і перемоги. Слава Україні!
So, yeah, he was basically visiting with the wounded soldiers in the Superhuman Center. Just making sure that these guys that sacrifice literally limb for country know they're not forgotten. I know it's been discussed on several other streams recently that, Zelensky's made mistakes, but he's human. And no other leader, I've never seen a leader go to VA and, there's one scene in here where you're sitting down. When have you seen an American president sitting on the bed with two wounded veterans next to him saying thank you, laughing and joking with them? You never see that. That's why the West respects this man so much. And to my Ukrainian brethren out there, I hope you see it too. So, yeah, a great leader. Even though he has made mistakes, we're all human. And the fact that he's as human as he is what makes him a great leader. I see you guys in chat. The link's in the description, but I'll put it in chat and pin it. So the link to the donor box is pinned in chat now. I'm not good at asking for money. I don't like doing it. Even if it's for a great cause, it's just me. I'm not used to it. Hopefully I'll get better at it in the future if we do more fundraisers. Or when we do more fundraisers. Covered air raids, covered Zelensky's meeting today. All I have left sorry, I'm getting private messages. just wanted to check on those while I can, make sure it's not something stream related. The only thing I got left is my videos, well, and the news from mainstream media. Canty Center, again, if you want to go and watch these by yourself or save them for later use to show people what's going on. They're all right in here. And oh, I forgot about this. The 37th Marine Brigade stopped an enemy assault near Kurakova. I should have shown this one when I showed the other one. So that was the 37th Marine Brigade stopping the Russians from advancing near Kharkova. I'll get to your I'll go check out your the video you sent me, Mitch, in just a second. I want to make sure, since we're talking funny videos. Well, you guys weren't supposed to see that just yet, but Russian dirt bike assault is starting out, and Russian drivers at work. I'm sorry if that has me laughing. I have to watch that one again. I just realized I can show you exactly where this was filmed at. Let me pull this off to the side for a second. Go to the deep state map and come here to Servisk. That video is right in this area. Maybe even, I think maybe even right here. There's a building, and then where they left. And I think that's the corner of the building he smacked into. But I'm pretty sure it's this complex right here.
Senator Collins, thanks for coming in.
It's a great pleasure, thank you.
This ship that was involved in the incident off Western Australia this week...
Yeah, the one the front fell off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very typical. I'd like to make that point.
Well, how is it untypical?
Okay. I don't get the context because I wasn't aware of this story 14 years ago.
Thanks for coming in.
It's a great pleasure, thank you.
This ship that was involved in the incident off Western Australia this week.
Yeah, the one the front fell off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very typical. I'd like to make that point.
Well, how is it untypical?
Well, there are a lot of these ships going around the world all the time, and very seldom does anything like this happen. I just don't want people thinking that tankers aren't safe.
Was this tanker safe?
Well, I was thinking more about the other ones.
The ones that are safe?
Yeah, the ones the front doesn't fall off.
Well, if this wasn't safe, why did it have 80,000 tonnes of oil on it?
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't safe. It's just perhaps not quite as safe as some of the other ones.
Why?
Well, some of them are built so the front doesn't fall off at all.
Well, wasn't this built so the front wouldn't fall off?
Well, obviously not.
How do you know?
Well, because the front fell off and 20,000 tonnes of crude oil spilled into the Seacourt fire. It's a bit of a giveaway. I just like to make the point that that is not normal.
Well, what sort of standards are these oil tankers built to?
Oh, very rigorous maritime engineering standards.
What sort of thing?
Well, the front's not supposed to fall off for a start.
And what other things?
Well, there are regulations governing the materials that they can be made of.
What materials?
Well, cardboard's out.
And?
No cardboard derivatives.
Like paper?
No paper. No string. No sellotape.
Rubber?
Yeah,
No,
Russia
rubber's
doesn't
out.
have those.
They've got to have a...
Russia doesn't have those restrictions on materials, apparently. You should have sent that one as a tweet or whatever it's called on Blue Sky. I don't know. Instead of a private message, but that was funny. Oh, where were we? Oh, Zaporizhia just got an air alert 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I think it is that oil refinery by Servisk. Russian assault on Toretsk. Yeah, that's going to get a copyright, so I'm going to have to mute that. Oh, that dude went rolling. Oh, and they're dropping off landmines. There was a train crash early this morning in Russia. Unfortunately, no audio. So, literally all forms of transportation in Russia are breaking down. They can't even keep trains from colliding. Yeah, 3:14 in the morning, passenger and freight trains collided. Passenger and freight cars derailed. Other little videos.
Пойдем.
Да давай,
Я
блядь,
снимаю,
ты
давай.
ёбаный в рот, блядь. Вещи идите забирайте, блядь, снимайте.
Блогер, блядь. Это просто пизда. Это просто очко, блядь.
А все, ты не достанешь вещи.
А ну,
Извините за маты, конечно, но я...
ну там пиздец.
Сереж, я без одежды.
Ну
So
сейчас...
their car looked pretty normal, but the next car up looks pretty jacked up. I guess they were lucky and they were in the car they were in. You know what it was? Somebody put one of those 1 year ruble coins on the tracks, and because inflation in Russia is so big, it derailed the train. Um, 100% success with Russian drones last night. 81 drones launched in total. 30 were lost due to electronic warfare. Mobile fire teams and air defenses shot down 51. Great work, guys. 100%. A plus does not even say it. These guys are, the air defense guys are not given enough credit. Each one of those could have been somebody's house, somebody's job, place of work, I should say. So hundreds of employees out of work or somebody's home destroyed. Those guys are literally protecting the lives of Ukrainians. And the guys on the front line are too, but they get almost all the glory. I just wanted to give some to the air defense units. um I'm confused with chat right now. I need to go back and so LJ, what are we saving you a seat for? I'm missing it or something. I don't, YouTube chat is not keeping up with all the chats. Oh, and I should be in live chat, not top chat. Oh, okay, I get it now. No, Linda, you're not. Well, they do call them sleeper cars for a reason, Golby. Yeah, we built so much infrastructure during our boom years that we can't afford to do it now. Oh no, it's that we keep giving our politicians raises of like 20 to 30% a year instead of spending money on maintenance. That's right. Stand clear of the doors. Yeah, there hasn't been much reported on that. There was an article I was reading, but it didn't, it was like, it might be in the news later, so. For me, the main issue right now that should be being talked about in the news but isn't is, oh, that's loud, the effects of the oil spill on the beaches in Crimea. If this is going to keep up, I don't think the Crimean beach party is going to happen.
Весь берег вот такой нефти, представь. Вообще ужас.
Yeah, and notice how, like, no uniforms are there, no police, no cleanup crews. This is just the local people. And the Ukrainians going out to clean up their beach. And since the stores don't even have shovels to sell, they're using masonry trowels to clean up the beaches. Unfortunately, that's what it was, McPigeon. This isn't crude oil. This is processed fuel oil. Like the stuff some Americans use to heat their home in the north. So, yeah, they're literally cutting sections of like gelatinous fuel, rolling it up, throwing it in trash bags, and hoping that the Russian authorities that are occupying Crimea will come pick up the trash. Yeah, play that again. He's literally slicing through it, because when it mixes with the sand, it kind of like melts the sand a little bit and becomes this like almost rubbery substance. Um, oh, you're talking about this one? In Murmansk? Oh no, this one's in Rostov, not the Murmansk one. Oh, so this is another rocket fuel plant that's gone smoking. Uh no, they even give the GPS coordinates. I'll transfer those in chat if anybody wants to go look it up. Oh, okay. I was told to go back and look here. Oh God, you guys are mean. 598.84. Nikki Hill, thank you very much. 9 donors, 14, so still five anonymous donors. Thank you so much. Oh God, yeah, it's still strong as hell. Holy. Oy. Oh God, my eyes are watering. That stuff's strong. Is this the one you guys were talking about? Oh, cancel. I'm out of translations. But I think this was the Murmansk, right? Sure is a lot of fires. You know, just for the Russian smokers out there. Go smoke at your Russian oil refineries. It's fine.
Я вижу.
Oh, that guy's voice comes through loud.
Охереть. Попали по заводу, блядь. Ебать. Горит, горит, видно.
And unfortunately, that's all I have for videos today. Putin paid Kim Jong-un about $5.5 billion for the supply of North Korean soldiers and weapons to the Russian Federation. Every year, North Korea could receive an additional $600 million. Careful, Vlad, he might eat you. And not in a good way. Oh, I ran across another good meme today. Not necessarily a meme, but I think we know whose side Santa is on. And see, LJ sent me Ukraine unveils Trident laser weapon capable of downing aircraft at 2 kilometers. Oh, so it's a Kiev Post thing. Yeah, Trident capable of downing aircraft. We can state that today Ukraine is, if I'm not mistaken, the 5th country that can say it has a laser weapon. You're already able to shoot down planes at an altitude of more than 2 kilometers with this laser. Sorry for the smoke break, but you know, the Russians were smoking, I had to smoke too. You guys are killing me with these messages. Okay, it hasn't changed. Let's see where we're at with the total fundraiser. You guys did it for that, didn't you? So, just reached over 69,000. 69, dude. Sorry. Let's go to mainstream media for today. Killing of Russian general sends a message. Russia said it detained a subject. This is all like news from yesterday. Mainstream media is just catching up. Ukraine is winning the economic war against Russia. Okay. Behind a paywall, but we can read the first paragraph here. Every business in Ukraine has a reference point. A farmer, the reference point, it was 6 weeks of the all-out invasion. As Russian columns stalled on a nearby highway, his farm became no man's land. Locals fought gun battles to keep Russians off of it. Shells whizzed overhead. And Mr. Travetsky milked his cows twice a day in body armor and an automatic rifle at his side. I wish they had a picture of the guy rather than this, but I'm going to try a trick here. No, not able to work on that one, unfortunately. UK decries gangster threat after Russia's Medvedev warns journalists. Medvedev, deputy chair of Russia's Security Council, appeared to threaten senior staff at the Times newspaper. Remember, if you guys watch Greg Terry, he said there's 3 people to listen to about Russia, their official statements, and one of those persons was Medvedev. And here he is threatening the senior staff of a newspaper as being legitimate war targets. Britain has accused Russia of making a gangster threat. Obviously, Russia is a criminal country, unfortunately. After Medvedev issued a warning to journalists. Okay, maybe I'm confusing him with somebody else. Medvedev issued a warning to journalists at the Times over the newspaper's coverage of the assassination of Scooter Boy. An editorial piece that ran in the paper referred to the killing as a legitimate act of defense by Ukraine. The editorial alleged that Scooter Boy would have been responsible for numerous documented chemical attacks on Ukrainian forces in the field. Russia's ex-president, who is currently the deputy chair of its Security Council, appeared to threaten senior staff at the newspaper on Wednesday after a piece was published, and they too are now legitimate military targets. So, just reporting something that and having an opinion makes you a legitimate military target for Russia. These may include the lousy jackals from the Times who cowardly hid behind an editorial, meaning the publication's entire management team. Medvedev posted on Telegram. The people who committed the crimes against Russia always have accomplices, he added. So, yeah, me reporting this stuff and having an opinion that Russia doesn't like. So that means I then become a legitimate military target. That's Russian thinking for you. That is the brain rot that is in Russia. Washington Post. Does Trump want Putin to get Ukraine's $26 trillion in gas and minerals. I hope he doesn't. I know EU doesn't, because EU getting their gas from Ukraine instead of Russia. You know, a scooter, sorry, I'm reading in a chat and it kind of just brain fart. Imagine if instead of having to deal with Russia that threatens and invades other countries, you could deal with a democracy that wants to join the EU, has these gas supplies, and could be not only the breadbasket, but the fuel source for the EU. Hey, Germany, Ukraine, your fuel source. Just saying. I love this. Moscow Times reporting Ukrainian security service arrest suspected Russian agents who searched for F-16 locations. I'll give them a read. The SBU said it neutralized a large-scale agent network of 12 agents and their informants who tried to identify the locations of secret military airfields where, according to the Russians, F-16 aircraft might be based. The agents were also said to have carried out reconnaissance operations on the firing positions of Ukraine's air defense systems and tried to find companies producing electronic warfare equipment to counter drones. You know, with a Russian newspaper printing this story, someone's going to be opening a window. Just saying. You know, I think the editors of the Moscow Times just became legitimate military targets. World first. Ukraine's newest naval drone in unique attack on Russian positions. Ukrainian uncrewed surface drones are dominating combat in the Black Sea, few would have predicted. The much larger, better equipped Russian Navy has been pushed back to its distant port of Novorossiysk. And Russia could not easily reinforce its strategic overseas bases in Syria because its Syrian express shipping route had stopped sailing. Okay, I like this guy who wrote this. Ukrainian Navy recently revealed a completely new type of drone which adds several previously unforeseen features. This new design, as yet unnamed in public, adds small aerial drones, possibly mines, to the capabilities of the drones and has already proven them in action. These new drones appear larger than the previously seen Magura and Sea Baby designs, which allows it to deploy more systems. So, hey Russia, Ukraine's got a new toy they want to play. Well, I have a feeling we're going to have some more naval videos here shortly. more submarines. Russia's going to be launching more submarines too. Britain's Starmer tells Trump to stand with Ukraine. So apparently they spoke on the phone today. Prime Minister told Trump on Wednesday that Western allies must stand together on Ukraine. Razom do переможемо. Stand together until victory. Second call. Not worth reading. Bunch of secondhand talking about somebody's phone conversation. And back to old news. The video I showed you yesterday with the Santa on the FPV. Oh, that's new information. Drones wearing Christmas ornaments help kill or wound 200 North Korean troops. I didn't know the casualties were that high, but there you go. Forbes said it, so it must be true. Sorry, I can't even keep a straight face when I say that. See, a reindeer, a Santa, an elf, and a bird. Christmas ornaments on the FPV drones. Remember the video from yesterday? Yeah, no real new information there other than the 200 casualties. According to Slovakia, Ukraine will not be invited to join NATO. Okay, well, Slovakia, you don't have final word. I have a feeling I'm not going to like this story, but I'll read it anyway. Weary soldiers and citizens expressed fatalistic optimism while preparing for the loss of U.S. military support. It's kind of an odd statement to make when support for Trump is increasing in Ukraine. Well, Kyiv City just started their air alert. So they're talking about interviewing a soldier that was fighting in Kursk, but doesn't go into what he says before the paywall kicks in. Talking about how the Biden administration slow walking the military support that we promised. Every bullet that doesn't arrive leads to the death of my friends, he said. Ever since the election of Donald Trump, the uncertainty is the hardest part. The commanding officer said they would fight regardless of the American position, but the soldiers were troubled because the American politicians want to do a deal, and we know it would not be peace. It'd be a tactical pause that would allow the Russians to regroup. Okay. It just seems like a weird stance to take from those quotes. I wouldn't say it's fatalistic. It's wish I knew more, but you put it behind a paywall. Of course, 5 days ago, that's all the news for today, I guess. Mainstream media showing its powers of copying everybody else and repeating the same story and twisting words. With the talk about Ukraine's energy infrastructure, I've had this idea in my head for a while now. Like, Ukraine's future. Everybody's worried about the next year. I'm sitting here thinking we need to learn what we can for next year, yes. But we also need to plan for the future. There's these drones out there. Yeah, I don't want to play somebody's video. Let's just do an image. One of the things I see in the future for Ukraine is these things. Okay, sorry about that hiccup in my back. Okay. Small hiccup in the interwebs. But these drones are used for spraying crop fields. With all the soldiers trained on how to use drones, I would love to see maybe even have fundraisers for in the future to finance these soldiers buying these drones and having a business of spraying the crops for Ukrainian farmers. They use less because they're more precise spraying. No damage to the crops. They could have a big future, keep a skill alive that is much needed in wartime, and perform a service, use less chemicals. That's one aspect of Ukraine's future I would like to see happen. The other one is with the power infrastructure. Russia targeting the power plants and basically the power plants. It's kind of shown the need to decentralize decentralized power generation. And of course, there's really not a whole lot of information coming up about it. Mostly like small scale hydroelectric. But just having solar panels You know, kitting your house out with solar panels, which like this is dumb if that's the, you can tell this is just a drawing mock-up. If the sun's behind the house, you don't put solar panels in the shadow of the chimney. That's, but you know, not large fields like this, but you know, solar panels on your house. You equip an entire village with solar panels, you know, 4 or 5 solar panels a piece, whatever. They're going to be able to supply others with power. But yeah, decentralizing the electric grid, not only something Ukraine, I think, will need to look at in the future, but also we need to look at that. Not just solar panels, but wind turbines, small scale turbines that you can put in your house. I'm not talking about these ones. There's better designs than this coming out, but these are what they consider like low wind speed wind turbines. There's better ones in development. You don't need a huge constant wind for this, and you could easily fit that. Well, let's go Amazon, I guess. No, not AliExpress. I'm not even. Okay, fine. Amazon Wind. You know, they got several of them here. You know, and this one is 12 kilowatt. You know, that's more than a house needs. And these things are only $410. If you can get 10 of these, there you go. There's 120 kilowatts. Granted, it only goes when the sun goes, but having that level of micro generation, the drone spraying, those are a couple of my thoughts in my head for the future of Ukraine. Yeah, they have solar farms, but they're centralized. Mitch Ashdown writes, Ukraine does have solar farms. Yes, they do, but again, it's something that's centralized. It's something that can be targeted in an attack. If you make it more accessible, you know, at least make the power companies buy the power that you produce. It makes it something sustainable for individuals to do, you know, not only eliminate their electric bill, but have an income from it. And then it becomes like a grassroots movement, I guess, is what I'm thinking in my head. But if you can spread the generation not only throughout an entire village, but then multiply that by village in more villages and more villages. You get a network that is a lot harder to disrupt. It's just, something I think not only Ukraine needs to look at, but us in the future too. Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't happen everywhere, Aussie. Here, in my state, they do not. I'm working with my representatives and stuff to try and pass a law here that will require every power company in the state to buy excess solar generated power. If I moved like 2 counties over, there's a co-op that does do it, but the power company I have does not buy back solar energy. That's one future I see for Ukraine. Again, with the crop spraying drones, decentralized power generation. There's always going to be more need for power than what solar panels on houses can produce, or even wind turbines. So, like all these bigger cities, solar panels, okay, but it's not going to produce enough to keep the lights on at the stadium, the mine, and so on and so forth. Run the mining equipment, run the steel mills. So there's always going to be a demand for power. So it's just a couple thoughts I have. And I kind of wanted to challenge you guys. Yeah, government regulations needed, yes. And I just hope that maybe me expressing my thoughts here will inspire you guys to think about other things that can be done in the future. Plan for more than just 2025 for Ukraine. Plan for 2050. Those are just 2 of my thoughts. Hopefully you guys come up with some of your own and share them here. And there's no such thing as bad ideas. Sometimes the silliest idea turns into one of the biggest. Sorry, I got to take care of a Russian fly. Yeah, ever since it got cold, the flies came into the house. Every time I go in and out of the house, there's another fly, it seems. And they're about as annoying as the Russians. I don't know where to go from here, so I'm just going to say thank you all for coming and supporting the stream. I appreciate you very much. Even more so, I appreciate your support for Ukraine. So add an extra $98 or so, almost $600 for the fundraiser. Well over halfway there to the first on-camera killing of taste buds. Again, donation link is in the description below. Pinned in chat. I've been trying to figure out how to boost these guys' volume.
Hello, we are soldiers and paramedics.
Oh, they did do it.
In the
Alpha 2 company in the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine. We ask for your collaboration for a closed vehicle of quick evacuation since we do not have one at the moment. Because of this, we have unfortunately lost people and wounded people which shouldn't have been in danger. We appreciate your collaboration. Slava Ukraine!
Heroes Slava!
Let's get those guys their truck. Let me zoom back out to normal. Of course, it's a team effort. It's just not us raising for the truck. ATP Geopolitics is raised 2 trucks already, and everything over the 20,000, so the 4,176.84 is going to help out with our vehicle. So it's great to be in such a community oriented support. Almost halfway through the whole thing for the whole 15 trucks. So hats off. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night and stay safe.
Чайковский